Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining us today. I hope everybody out there had a lovely weekend. Looking forward to a good week. Very nice here. I tell you what, we had absolutely perfect weather this weekend. Highs in the 70s, lows in the 50s, and yeah, just beautiful, beautiful. But anyhow, today I'm here to talk about how I do a raw food diet my way, and you should too. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. Doing it my way. Everybody should be doing this lifestyle their way. One thing I've talked about a lot since I've started this channel, and I like to double down on it, and I like to repeat it as much as possible. You need to do your own research. The only way that you're going to do this long term, and be successful with it is doing your own research. Doing your own research. I don't know how many times I can say it. Most of the people, and question everything, most of the people out there that we're listening to about this raw food diet are not experts. They're not experts. I'm not an expert. Very few people are experts. It's just not a subject that there's enough testing on, there's not enough research on. And a lot of the stuff, especially on YouTube, which is where unfortunately too many people consume their content. I wouldn't say unfortunately, but too many people get that's their only form of getting content, is through YouTube. And most of the people that talk about this stuff on YouTube is just like me to a certain extent, although a lot of people are a lot more book smart than me. It's from experience. It's from one person's experience, and it's usually not over, even for the people that have been doing this the longest time. I've seen a few that have done it for like 15 or 20 years, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not that long. So you have to do your own research. And that's one reason why this has worked for me since the beginning. Another thing too that's really important is not being dogmatic. I decided that early on. From almost day one, I just decided that I was not going to get into any of the dogma. I didn't want to be in any particular group of the raw food people. I didn't want to be, of this religion, of that religion. I didn't even want to be one of the ones that was fully raw all the time. In fact, back in Costa Rica, I'm a bit of a smart ass if you haven't figured that out by now. Back in Costa Rica, I was fully raw. I ate nothing but raw food. I lived at the beach. It was hot. Why would I want to cook anything? I would eat cooked food when I would come home. I'd eat a little bit here and there, when I'd come back here to Alabama. But yeah, I was mostly raw, but I used to joke around in videos back then that I will never be fully raw. That even if I ate like that for the rest of my life, I would eat a potato every month just so I wouldn't want to be one of those sanctimonious people that was just constantly yammering on and on about how they're fully raw and they've been for 1,473 days. Yeah, like I say, I'm joking a little bit today. I'm just kind of in a good mood, playing around on the weekend. But no, I kind of took the bull by the horns from day one on this. But I have an open mind. Now, when I say things like that, that might make you think that I'm a little bit closed-minded. No, I'm an open mind. I'm open to everybody out there. Even the people, there's a lot of people out there that say a lot of crazy shit. But there's a lot of people that say a lot of crazy shit that I don't take much from, but I've taken something from. So don't have this black and white mentality all the time. Just because you don't agree 100% with what somebody is telling you doesn't mean they don't have some value for you. You just have to have a good filter in your brain to be able to take in lots and lots and lots of information. Use a little bit of common sense. Most of life is common sense. You could, sometimes we get intimidated by certain things thinking like, well, I don't know enough about this subject, but this is our bodies. This is eating. And a lot of it we feel as we go. So, don't give away your power like that. Learn to do your own research for yourself. Another thing I've never been interested in, and I don't do that on my channel just because I'm not interested in it. And I am a bit selfish, as I've mentioned in videos before. It's all about me. I've never been interested in debating stuff. It's just, I like discussing things in small settings in a thoughtful way. Like me and Amanda, we come to, I really find conversations and discussions like that very beneficial. But just the stuff online, the typical debate you see go back and forth over usually inconsequential stuff, in my opinion, it's just a waste of time. And I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody. If you want to do it, God bless. But I just don't. I don't focus on things I'm not interested in. I'm always seeking, like I say, I'm always sort of doing research. I mean, even when I'm not really actively looking to change anything, I'm reading something. I've probably read 2 or 3 articles this morning. I'm like, ooh, maybe we'll try some of this. But I focus on what I'm interested in and going in a positive direction as opposed to constantly debating or constantly trying to refute things. I mean, that could take up your whole day sometimes. And I know I'm a little different than a lot of people on social media. I pick up that vibe on Instagram sometimes, but I'm just not interested. People want to get into something, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Most people are nice, but it's just like, I don't want to sit there and explain why I don't want to do something. It's just like, well, because I put my time in, I put my research in, I go by how I feel, and I just don't do it. I get a lot of that with the feast and the fast. The people that do the never-ending feast and fast, that's probably one of the ones I get the most of. My opinions on juice fasting, my opinions on feast, my opinions on fasting, my opinions on cleansing, my opinions on the healing. All of that, the detox, the feast, the fast, that's never been my wheelhouse. Not knocking it, not saying anything's wrong with it, that's just not my thing. And I've just found that approach, from what I've seen, that the people that are constantly doing that are always on shaky ground. They don't learn how to eat. I learned how to eat. I learned how to eat early on. So that's just something I'm not interested in. But you can find people out there for it, and go where your interest lies. That's what I would say. If you are interested in things, and some of the things I may mention in here, you might already be chomping at the bit. You disagree with me. That's fine. That's fine. Love you still. But go interact with people that are interested in that kind of stuff. It's as simple as that. I've just never been into that whole thing about, like, it almost just kind of makes me tick a little bit. It just drives me nuts. Ever since I've been doing this for 8 years, and ever since the first Facebook group I got into, it's been nuts. And that's why I don't interact with a lot of people in social media. I don't join a lot of groups and what have you, because that's all it ever is. It's the most extreme stuff, and that you can kind of probably relate to that, whether it's politics or whether it's any subject in life. Things that are extremes, things that are very radical, tend to get more attention, tend to gain more traction, tend to be more interesting to people. I've just not been interested in that. I just kind of found like that thing from day one. I started noticing that from day one. It was like there were people that they were never really eating or learning how to just live a normal life. It was always another fast, another island, another cleanse, detox, healing, all those buzzwords. Like immediately, all those words that I just used to you were kind of like, they just had like this weird feeling to me. It was like a danger, that's kind of stay away from that. Not to say that this diet, that we don't detox a lot when we start eating like this. Not to say that this diet or getting out of our own way and the things that we're not eating is not extremely healing. But I mean, come on, at some point we got to get over it. At some point, aren't we going to get, don't we just get on to the living part? Don't we just get on to the eating part? But anyway, that's just one little thing. That's up to you. It's all about making your decisions and see what feels right for you. Now, don't get me wrong by what I just told you there. Living in Costa Rica, I did a lot of cleansing down there. I just did it my way. God, what were we talking about yesterday? Me and Amanda were talking about something, and I started going back thinking in my head, like, yeah, I never did this, that, and the other, the feast, the fast, the blah, blah, blah. But I did do very long periods of time where I would just eat mostly fruit. I did extended periods of time where I added no overt fats. So I did these things where my body was just, like I remember living on the mountain in Costa Rica, and like I would go a month and not add any overt fat, eat mostly mono meals, and have very little except for just fruit, mono meals, but eating plenty of it. And man, the cleansing I got, the energy I got from that was great. but that's not where I'm at right now. And I could see myself once I get back to, eventually once I get back to Costa Rica, as soon as I step onto Costa Rica soil, I'll probably do something like that for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, but that doesn't suit where I am right now. You know, I like having a little bit of extra, like, I won't even call it extra weight because I would still like to have a little bit more weight on me. I mean, and that's another one too. Every time I say that, I get something in a comment, people bristle a little bit. If you're cool with being skinny, that's cool, brother. You know, if you're all right with those little things coming out of your shoulders being about this big around, you know, fine. That emaciated, malnourished look just isn't for me. I'm going to try to add a few pounds this winter. But I would do that for definitely a period when I got back to Costa Rica. But the point is, I'm just kind of starting to ramble now. The point is, it's just like, you need to make your own decisions. This is your body. This is what's carrying us through this life. And you're insane if you're just putting your trust in somebody else's hand without verifying any of this stuff. And you're really shortchanging yourself if you just have a couple of sources. Some people have their one source, their one person. If you're have limited sources where you're getting your information, most likely, I don't think you'll be successful on this lifestyle because there's just so many different thoughts out there. There's so many. I just think of the different things I've taken from so many different people and what I would have missed. And even though I respect all of those people, what I would have missed if I had just, you know, like just followed any one of those people and to the exclusion of the others. So this is a very personal thing. What we put in our body is a very personal thing. Like me and Amanda talked about in a past video, it's not necessarily the same for everybody. I've watched her eat. I don't know, maybe she's got a critique of mine, but I've watched her eat. She eats very differently than me. Her whole way of consuming food, the timing, the amounts, everything is different than mine. But I don't look at anything and go, yeah, I think that's wrong, or no, you should be doing this, or you should be doing that. Works for her. In fact, she said, what should I change? You don't change nothing. You're getting the results you feel like you want right now, and it works for you. It's not the same way I do it, but that doesn't work for me. But we're individuals. We're just not, we are still the same species though. So there is like, we're individuals and there are slighter differences, but there's not these huge differences. We're all still human. So I know the only reason I'm saying that, there's a lot of people out there sometimes that they make these wild assumptions. Well, we're all different. So I do this and you do that. A lot of the differences we have are subtleties, but anyhow, make your own decisions and apply this to everything you do in your life. I just don't understand people that in anything put their life, put their trust, put everything in somebody else's hands. You got to verify everything. Maybe it's just a good thing that I'm not a very trusting person in life, that I question everything, that I'm a skeptic. Personally, I think that's a good way to go through life, but be sure and make your own decisions and own your own decisions. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And I hope everybody has a beautiful week. Peace.